We ain't gonna never die. 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 Icons of real time. Icons of real time. We ain't gonna never die.
Icons, stepping on pythons, spitting that cayenne, eat shit like Zion, peeking at the skyline, reaching for the stars like I'm reaching for the pylon. I seen you on the sideline, you need to walk a fine line, need to read the guidelines instead of reading the timelines, where everybody like line, nobody flow like mine. I'm sunning these niggas, got me coaching niggas like prime, tongue I never bite mine, got dough like Taekwondo. To spend all this money, I'ma have to spend a lifetime. You broke, can't even buy time, should throw niggas a lifeline. You know money on my mind, and I be on your wife mind. I hit her with the pipe bomb, then pass it down the pipeline, but actually we quite fine. Diamonds on me sparkling and splashing like some white wine. They love me in the nighttime, they hate me when the light shine. Shots I got 100, and problems I got 99. Boo got it by Ryan, take off with no flight time. Bad bitch on the passenger side, she don't even like flying. Booty soft as nightline, you niggas small as my crime. I got a black Nina that get nasty as a white blind. Low credit, high crime, open mind, tight rhymes. When they hit my lines, these rappers gotta catch up like Hines. Weezy in my slime knives, ain't nobody like eyes. Like bygones, gotta let icons be icons. Hi moms. Hi moms. Hi moms. Hi moms. Hi moms.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 120 of the Splashcast, the Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw. I am your co-host, Reggie, and you moved again.
I'm your co-host, Norwood. And yes, we are here for episode 120. It is Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Always remember, like, follow, subscribe. Thank you so much.
Bro, what happened? You were centered. We were good. We did the whole pregame, and then boom, we moved.
Yes, we are here to talk about HBCU sports. We got some really good news to start out with. Tarik Cohens seems to be back on the mend.
Oh, you just gonna skip what I said? You just gonna keep? You gonna step right over it?
Absolutely, we got a show to do.
Hell nah. What? Nah. This nah. Nope. My turn, brother. I gotta fix the camera. Tarik Cohen. Hey man, if y'all remember, Tarik Cohen, I think set the single season rushing record at A&T at the time. I think that's been broken since then by another North Carolina A&T running back that has made it to the league. But Tarik Cohen, who burst onto the scene with Chicago as almost the little engine that could, 5'6", running back from an HBCU who could not be stopped, has not played in the NFL since suffering an ACL and MCL tear as well as a leg break in 2020. And then in 2021, I believe he tore his Achilles while working out, if it's not mistaken. He has now, he's making his comeback. He has signed with the Carolina Panthers practice squad. They need running backs. And they need his versatility, and I hope that he completes the comeback story.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see him back on the mend. I think he's a guy who definitely deserves another chance. I think he's a good football player. Hopefully he's healthy enough to come on and help the Carolina Panthers as long as they don't beat the Falcons.
I just need him to beat the Saints. So the Panthers and the Saints are playing right now, and it looks like bad to worse. It's both of these games. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. They had 4 fumbles in one possession. Carolina versus the Saints, they had 3 fumbles in one possession. When I say one possession, I mean one play. Not one, like one play. They fumbled the ball 4 times, each team twice. But yeah, Tarik Cohen, man, I hope you come back and play well enough to make the Saints not make the playoffs or even be a division contender. With that being said, man, I think that he can make the team. They probably need to. I'm happy he got a chance, but I think he could probably he'll end up somewhere else. I think he'll end up somewhere that's running back needy.
And I think that there are going to be multiple teams who need a running back here. I think that
Cleveland.
Wow, you just dropped that kid. Yeah, I think that funny enough, I could see Kareem Hunt I could see Cleveland being very interested in reuniting with Kareem Hunt. Now that it's been later, and I mean, unfortunately, the Nick Chubb thing didn't look good. New York's gonna need a running back here now. Saquon is gonna be out for at least the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I think that Carson Wentz could very well end up being a New York Jet sooner rather than later.
Bro, how many? Carson Wentz?
What are your other options?
Anybody else?
Nick,
he has proven 3 times that he's terrible. How many black quarterbacks get to be terrible 3 times? 3. He's been terrible. The dude that stuck his neck out for him said, "Dog, you almost got me fired." Frank Reich.
I agree with that, but somebody like Zachary Taylor Thomas is clearly not the answer.
Oh, we'll get there.
And what do you got to do something with that.
Y'all better go trade for somebody. You better go trade for the Falcons, get Taylor Heineke. Give us some picks. Y'all better do something.
I don't feel confident enough in letting Taylor Heineke walk out that door. You can get Logan Woodside.
But moving on, man. Moving on. Shout out to Tarik Cohens. Moving on. So we are always for HBCU postseason athletics and football. It has now been announced that in 2023, the Florida Beach Bowl is going to happen. That is going to be the CIAA versus the SIAC in the championship game, similar to the Celebration Bowl is it called the Celebration Bowl? Similar to the SWAC versus MEAC in Atlanta. This game will feature teams from the SIAC and the CIAA on Wednesday, December 13th in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm excited for this. I would love to go if it wasn't holiday season and I didn't already commit to burn on my vacation. But I would love eventually to go to this game. I love that the MEAC, the SWAC, the CIAA, and the SIAC now all have postseason games that will be televised. I'm excited for this.
Yes, I'm super excited for this. I think that this is a good thing for both of these conferences. Where is it? Oh, Fort Lauderdale. So it's a Miami thing. Yeah, and I mean, there's not many better places to be in the middle of December than Fort Lauderdale. And
we already talked about last week. We talked about that team up there in Columbia that went 15-0.
Oh! I just saw the Nick Chubb injury. It is bad. It is terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Benedict, that team in Columbia, Benedict, I think is on like a 17-game winning streak. They went 15-0 last year. They're 2-0 this year, if I'm not mistaken. The only other long winning streak that is going on is the Georgia Bulldogs at 21. So the exposure for these schools, the exposure for these teams, the exposure for these bands and these schools will be unmatched, and I can't wait to watch it. And y'all better watch. Y'all better watch. Y'all better not make no excuses, even if you got a about to tell my age. Even if you got a DVR, I'm about to say TiVo. Even if you got to DVR it, dog. Even if you got to tape it, I don't care how you do it, stream it on your phone, whatever you got to do, make sure y'all support this Florida Beach Bowl Classic as well as the Celebration Bowl. Please, 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 please. I will. And as soon as I can get there, we make enough money, y'all sign us, and we can pay us to travel, we'll be there. We'll be there.
I guess TiVo still exists.
It does?
Yep. I looked it up. I was like, man, that's a callback.
I don't
know if this thing exists. They want you to buy one for $174. Oh yeah, you deluse. You delulu.
Y'all predators. You know who buy TiVo? 77-year-old people. That who buy it, they predator. They preying on the elderly because that's what they remember. I promise that's what it is.
Preying on people. Pirates.
Let's move on to the scoreboard, dog. Let's move on to the scoreboard. Oh man.
No. Let's talk about the team that matters.
I will. First. That's what you got to start. You got to talk about the scoreboard. You got to get to the scoreboard. So let's go here. We'll talk about this team that matters first. Hampton University upset, and I am clearly going to say it was an upset because Howard was favored. Upset Howard, 35-34 with a 14-point comeback win in the fourth quarter. In the HU Classic, they played that at DC, correct?
Correct. Audi Field. And as you can see here, Howard actually was up. The majority of the game had control of the game. It looked actually pretty bad for us. And then Hampton turned it around. We had Elijah Burris, who I think is our player of the week, with 6 carries and 111 yards and a 93-yard touchdown.
Yeah, man. Howard was up 34-21. They were really up 34-17. I mean, 34-14 at one point. And then Hampton just kind of 31-14 at one point. And Hampton kind of just went crazy in the fourth quarter, man. Elijah Bird, 6 carries over 111 yards, 1 touchdown. Who else? Who else went crazy?
And I will also want to say that we beat this team, and we are currently dealing with a major ineligibility issue. The numbers circulate from anywhere between 35 to 20, but at least double-digit players not being available. And to go to Howard and still get this win is a very big win. We were hoping and praying that the Hampton football team and athletic department gets this together because we need all these players. Because I think that even though we lost that game to Norfolk, we could still have a very good season and be one of the best HBCU football teams.
Yeah, man.
Around.
They've actually. I like how the alumni and the athletic association addressed that immediately. When it came to that, this is Burris right here with his 93-yard run, and then I believe that did that take the lead or that just brought us back into the game. I believe that just brought us back.
I think that brought us back into the game. If you notice on his right foot, there is no shoe, because he left it back there with the defender who tried to arm tackle him, and it's a hell of a touchdown, man.
Yeah, there it is, right there. Shoe gone.
Right there, shoe gone. Shoe gone, he gone. Good luck and Godspeed to all parties involved.
Ooh,
But
I will say them uniforms,
and those helmets,
tough. Them uniforms,
the jerseys. I kind of like. I kind of don't. I wish they were a little bit lighter. The helmet looks fire though. And Howard got new jerseys too. This looked like an official sponsored, sanctioned HBCU come up game. Like it looked like we all got money. Like we are out here, and I'm happy that Hampton won, man. I am excited that Hampton won. I also hope that we are the next school to move to Nike from Under Armour. I would appreciate that prayerfully.
You don't like.
I'm speaking into existence. I think it's still generic, but it's better than what we have had. It's better than Russell Athletic. So yes.
Other scores in the MEAC: North Carolina Central 59-7. I was hoping that they would score early and not late. I thought that they would give UCLA a game in the first quarter. UCLA went up 21-0 in the first 4 minutes of the game. And I said, ooh, Lord. I think I texted you like,
I told you like this was like Central is my squad, but nah, you're overmatched.
Same with Norfolk State and Temple. Norfolk State got that win against Hampton. Went up there to Temple, and of course Temple went kind of crazy. Delaware State lost to Richmond. The Battle of Baltimore, though, we both picked Morgan. Towson intercepted Morgan 3 times in a 20-10 victory over Morgan. 20-10 victory over Morgan State. Nathan Kent, player of the game, passed for a touchdown and ran for a touchdown for Towson. So shout out to Towson, man. Coming up. They're in the SIAC if I'm not mistaken.
I wish that Morgan State had not played so bad early. I think that they could have won this game, but you got to be able to put it together on Saturday. That's what matters. And they ain't do it.
It's very rare that anybody comes back from 3.
Can't win like that.
Three interceptions. Let's move on to the SWAC, dog. Bethune-Cookman in Miami, 48-7.
Unfair.
It is what it is. Grambling beat up on another HBCU, Florida Memorial. Grambling quietly is kept as one of the better teams in the SWAC. Hugh is doing his thing now up there in Ruston. I said up there. Thinking I'm in Baton Rouge. Up there in Ruston, Louisiana. Hey! Didn't we bet beers on this one? Because I took Pine Bluff. No, you picked Miles.
I picked Miles, but I don't think we bet this
I don't know
one.
if we bet beers on that one. But Pine Bluff got their win. I am surprised. I think Miles College came out sleep. And it started out 14-0 at halftime, and then they hung on at the end because Miles had mounted a furious comeback, only to come up one point short. FAMU beat West Florida 31-10. FAMU looks like the class of the SWAC so far, but they get into SWAC play here pretty soon. Well, they already beat Jackson State, but they get into the rest of their schedule pretty soon. SMU beat Prairie View 69-0. We'll get to SMU in a little bit. Rice, Texas Southern. Southern finally got off the schneid and beat Alabama A&M.
They needed that win so bad, boy.
Boy, did they. Hey, Alabama A&M coach, stop doggone barking, brother. I don't know why you was out there barking.
Toonie is wild. It's the dog in us. Bro, if you don't see 65-year-old... Bro, sit down and coach his football team and act like a normal human being. That's all we asking from you.
Delta State and Mississippi Valley. That's another game that was not, the final score was not indicative of how it started. Delta State is the school, kind of like McNeese State. They normally beat HBCUs and they beat up on them pretty bad. But it was 10-7 at halftime. I'm sorry. 7-6 at halftime, Mississippi Valley State. At halftime, it was 7-6.
Yeah, they do sneaky.
Yeah, sneaky. They got Maynard. It was 7-6 at halftime for Mississippi Valley State. I was following this game this weekend because I was like, I know Mississippi Valley State ain't about to upset Delta State. So Delta then came out and turned it on 29 straight points to win. Alcorn State beat McNeese State. McNeese must be going through some changes.
Whoa, Camp. I need a little ISO here. No. I need McNeese. This is the callback from last week. I told y'all, I voiced my frustrations with how Florida celebrated beating McNeese. I said that Steve Spurrier would have made y'all practice after the game if that's how you're going to act after you beat McNeese State. McNeese State just lost to Alcorn, Florida. And I got to let y'all live this week because y'all did what most people thought was unthinkable, even though I never thought it was unthinkable. Y'all did beat Tennessee.
Shut up. No. Act like you
celebration. That celebration after beating McNeese State, this should put that into context. Forget you ever did that. If I was y'all, I would actually go to the social media and remove all of those posts. Just post about Tennessee. That's it. That's all I got.
Got to celebrate
I'm realistic about my
all
teams.
The wins, man.
And now you don't celebrate that win. You don't celebrate that at all. That was what you're supposed to do. Clowns.
That would be so bad. And then Jackson State and Texas State played, and that game was really it actually was 28-20 at one point, and then it was not. And Texas State just ran away with it at the end of the second quarter, and it was just a bunch of bad plays.
Quarter.
Yes, it's crazy.
5 touchdowns in a quarter is egregious. 8 touchdowns and a half is disrespectful. Jeez.
Well, Texas State has Malik Hornsby as the quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he is a transfer who was really, really good. And they had TJ Finley. They played 2 quarterbacks. Malik Hornsby had 10 carries for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. TJ Finley had 251 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. So they got a two-headed monster at quarterback, and they ran roughshod in the second quarter. Second half was a closer game. It just kind of got away from them. So that was this week in HBCU news. We talked about. Are they telling me to be quiet? So my parents just got in town. Sorry, they text them, where the baggage claim at? What you mean? In the airport? What you mean? Anyway, this was this week in HBCU sports, man. Remember. Shout out to Tarik Cohens. Hampton beat Howard. And please support this Florida Beach Bowl in December between the SIAC and CIAA. Did we miss anything?
Nothing. Boy.
Nothing? It sucks for Nick Chubb. That's tough. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen.
If you don't want to see anything bad, please stay off Twitter. And all these, boy, I done seen Bryce Young fall down. I've seen Watson fall down. Boy, this is a terrible game. Oh my goodness, he tried to rip Watson face off. Yeah, but this is a lot of terrible football. It's so much terrible football.
Yeah. Y'all stay tuned. Go get you a beverage. We'll be right back. NCAA football, NFL football segment coming next. Give us about 2 minutes. Listen to the Splashcast, whatever pack this is. He's got 1,000 songs on the you know what I mean, because he hasn't made any cuts yet. But
it'll probably be 48. Diddy had an album come out this weekend, very good. Killer Mike Deluxe album came out. It's a lot of good music. Yeah, it'll be 48. I'm not cutting any of it. I like it all.
Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our football segment of episode 120 of the Splashcast, a Round the League edition, Monday Night Raw, where we do it live here on YouTube. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Got a few things we're going to talk about today on the horizon of football, Shawty. We talked about HBCU earlier. Wow, Chris Olave is really, really good.
NCAA is very, very bad.
NCAA, come on, George Pickens. NCAA football. Let's start out. It's a big week on the horizon. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Florida got a win. Georgia struggled in the first half. Blase, blah. But that's not what y'all here for. Really, only one game mattered for the whole weekend. And it was Colorado versus Colorado State. Not because Colorado State is a good team or even is supposed to be a good team. It's because of what Deion has done at Colorado. What Shedeur has done at Colorado. And I guess you can really say what Shiloh has done at Colorado. What the Sanders family has done in Boulder. Never in a million days, never in the near or recent future did I think that I would be staying up until 2 a.m. Sunday morning, sitting on the air mattress, watching Colorado versus Colorado State. Never did I think that would happen. And I don't think most of the Southeastern Conference territory thought that was going to happen. We don't really pay attention to the West Coast football. But it did. And I'm glad I stayed awake because it was a good game. Colorado beat Colorado State in double overtime. There was a lot of back and forth before. Between Coach Norvell, who did you know that the Colorado State coach was black?
Yeah.
From the beginning, you knew he was black.
Yeah.
I had no clue. When I heard the sound, because I heard the sound clip of what he said first. Heard that first, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, yeah.
You didn't ever see a picture of him?
Not when I saw the video was like on a cell phone of him at the radio station saying, my mother taught me to take my glasses and hat and shades off. And, he sounded real MAGA-ish in there. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, well, okay, well, you done made it. Now you done made it. What Deion say? You made it personal, Bryce Young. You made it personal. So, and then when I saw that he was black on the sideline, I was like, well, ain't that something? And then I saw his defensive coordinator who was black. And up until the fourth quarter, the defense was putting it on Colorado. I don't think Colorado scored in the third quarter. Matter of fact, they did not score in the third quarter. This was a really good game.
I mean, this is the part about this kind of frustrating to me is
shout out.
You got like this beautiful signage. You got the blender sunglasses there. You got they won by 8 points in overtime, 43-35. They're burying the lead. They were the 21-point favorites for this game. This is like Florida celebrating McNeese State. Bro, this is not how this is supposed to go.
No, it's not. McNeese State ain't even Division One. No, ain't even FBS.
But what I'm saying is there was a team that you were supposed to beat handily. You struggled for a very long time. You got the W. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But the celebration, I think, is a tad bit excessive. Once again, Colorado's fans have rushed the field.
Like, that celebration. I thought you were talking about Shador on this pick six. I mean, Shiloh on this pick six.
No. Do your thing. You got the pick six.
And that's a nod to Jackson State. That's where he got that from.
Yeah, absolutely. That was perfect. I was more talking about all the rest of the things around it. No, I found the celebration to be more than fitting. And yeah, he played out of his mind, to be completely honest.
Shiloh.
Pick six for 80 yards. He had a big, important forced fumble. I think he's a Pac-12 player of the week.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. The hype surrounding this game really was unwarranted. I mean, and I hate to say that. Actually, I don't hate to say it. Colorado State was not supposed to be a good team. Now, I will say the reason I disagree that this isn't like Florida and McNeese State is because this is a rivalry game. You know what I mean? This is like if Florida State was 2-9 and beat an 11-1 Florida. That's what I would, because this is a rivalry game. Apparently these two schools like really don't like each other. Like this is like they really hate each other. And because this is a rivalry game, and then you add in all of the other components that go to this with Dion and all of that stuff. They had 60 minutes. They had
5 shows taped in Boulder, Colorado within the last 7 days. I know I saw that.
60 minutes. Everybody, listen, all y'all that are watching this, I know everybody that has listen, we're talking to the culture. The culture, everybody got the same grandma. You didn't watch one of the 4. Price is Right, Murder, She Wrote, In the Heat of the Night, and 60 Minutes. You may have watched 4, and there's a couple other shows that I went to. What's the with the lady? Go ahead and throw Matlock. No, what's the one with the religious show with the black lady that passed away? It's the something club, 700 Club. Like, you remember that? Like, everybody's had the same thing. So one thing that you watched was 60 Minutes. I ain't never watched 60 Minutes where anybody was young. Everybody has been old on 60 Minutes since. I feel like you have to be 55 or older to watch host 60 Minutes. Or you
have to be 12 years old and have graduated from college twice. They'll put them guys on there.
Yeah. So, I mean, to have 60 Minutes there, to have First Take, FS1, he had Lil Wayne perform at the pregame. He had Rock at game day. He had, Dion had Lil Wayne walk them out. I mean, it's a show. And the thing about when you put on a show like that, the other team is going to be angry because they feel like they're a prop. And I can't imagine doing all this in a rivalry game. I will say that. I can't imagine doing all of this in a rivalry. And the first thing I text y'all, and I think I said it on Saturday morning, I was like, y'all, he can't lose. Like, what happens if they lose?
That's what I put in there. I said, what if he loses? And I want to ask you, I think, a reasonable question here. After what you've seen them do against Nebraska and what you've seen them do against Colorado State, do you believe this team to be a top 25 team?
Top 25, yeah. Top 25, yeah. Top 25 team. We can look at I don't want this to lock up again, but I'll look on my phone and look up the rankings and see who else is there.
Do you think they end the season top 25?
No. And I can't believe we lost 7-1. We clinched a wild card bye though. Do I think did they end the season top 25?
Yes.
They still got to play Oregon State, Oregon, Washington State, USC, UCLA, Stanford, and Cal. No. Because I don't think that I think they give Oregon a game. I don't know if they don't beat Oregon. They don't beat Oregon. This is why I wanted to pull up the graphic. Yes, shout out to Shiloh Sanders. 4 tackles, 1 interception, 1 80-yard touchdown, interception return, and a big forced fumble. Deion said about Shiloh before we transitioned back to the Colorado totality. Deion said about Shiloh studies so much, and I can empathize with Shiloh here. Shiloh studies and knows the film and everything so much. He knows the game from a coach's perspective, from a scheme. He knows what everybody's doing. He's rarely out of position for when I've seen him play. Only time is he may not be the most athletic, but he is very, very cerebral when it comes to the game of football. And yeah, Colorado State was a glorious prop. But Shiloh plays a little timid when it comes. He doesn't, as a safety, he takes being the last line of defense as being the last line of defense. He ain't really gonna jump no routes or nothing like that. And Deion said he finally trusted his eyes, and he went and he sat on it and ran it and picked it off and ran it back. I was so happy for Shiloh.
I don't think he plays timid. I think he plays conservative. I think he plays where, hey, I know that I'm the last line of defense, so I can't blow it. So I can't play as risky or as aggressive as I would like to play. But I don't think that timid is necessarily the right word. I think he just plays conservative. Hey, if I just cover and I play my responsibility, we'll have a better chance of winning. But he got this one, and it was clear. As soon as he picked it, he was going to the house, and all you could do is join him there.
Deion was so happy. I was happy for Shiloh. And again, I'm happy for the Sanders brothers because they never turned their back on Jackson State. They never turned their back on HBCUs. They have continued to champion HBCUs directly and indirectly. I hope that Shiloh gets his shot at the NFL because he is a very, very astute player. With that being said, your man Shedeur is kind of crazy. I'm not saying he's kind of crazy in that, he's the best quarterback in college football. He's not. But when they were down 14, Colorado State scored at the end of the game, or at the end with like 7 minutes left in the game to make it a 14-point game. And they showed him standing like this with the towel over his head doing this. I was like, oh, that boy, he kind of mad. And he engineered without his best receiver. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Wait, Hunter is not his best receiver.
Who you think is best receiver?
The weak kid is the best.
Xavier's Weaves. Yeah. Okay. All of his receivers were having bad games up to that point. Up until that point, J.C. Horn, not J.C. Horn, he played for the Carolina Panthers. Jimmy Horn Jr. had 2 drops. Weaver had a drop, big drop. Travis Hunter, before he went out, had a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. His receivers weren't playing that well. But one person that did play well was Mikey Harrison. Mikey Harrison, number 87, that tight end, came in, and he looked like
played like a man the whole game.
He was pretty good. And Shedeur Sanders had like 175 yards passing going into the fourth quarter, ended up with almost 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Shedeur is really, really good.
Yeah, he definitely had a rough first half. I will give him a ton of credit for being resilient. You kind of struggling against a team that everybody expects you to beat. There's a lot of pressure because you have the whole world at this game, and the world that isn't at this game is watching this game. A lot of players, that's one of my biggest things that I always say about Cam Newton is when you get behind and the pressure's on, he'll check out. Shedeur did not check out. He continued to do what he could. And he impressed. Now, I will say, give a lot of credit, even though the kid got kicked out of the game, that defensive lineman, Kamara, for Colorado State,
is a monster.
I don't know if he'll make it to the pros. I think he may be a little undersized, but he played a hell of a game. He gave him everything that he wanted and more. And that's my biggest concern is we watched number 9 from Nebraska give him big issues. Then that kid Kamara gave him big issues. And then, you're still about to play Oregon, and then you still get Bear Alexander later in the season. I'm interested to see what he does as the pass rush continues to improve.
So I don't think that's going to be his fault. What Nebraska exposed more than TCU, I think TCU fell into the trap of trying to prove that they can outscore them and outplay them and all that. Kenny Pickett to the locker room. It's halftime. I think what you've seen is their offensive line and defensive lines is where Deion is going to have to focus next, whether it's the transfer portal, whether it's recruiting, whatever it is, because that Colorado State offensive line was mauling them pretty much the entire game. That defensive line was mauling them. Shedeur was moving around the pocket the whole game, was mauling them the entire game. So as they end up playing better schools, they're going to have to be way more disciplined and sound in the offense. And defensively, they're not. I can tell that they did never plan to be a blitzing team. They never planned to be a blitzing team because they blitzed the whole game and they never got there, like ever. And they were just killing them with them. They were just running drag across the field. Number 14, drag and deep pass. That's all they did the whole game because they couldn't get
4
there.
and 14 from Colorado State,
And
14.
5. That's 6'5" tight end.
Football players. Those are guys I will be interested in seeing in the transfer portal immediately.
Well, one's a super
Colorado
senior, so
State.
he won't be there.
Well, yeah, they need to be somewhere else soon and very soon. But my biggest thing is like Shedeur's taking 11 sacks in 2 games. You gotta get rid of the ball.
Yeah, he does hold on the ball a lot, but I mean they sit on the routes because they have long developing plays. They have all their plays are deep. They don't really throw the ball short.
Oh well, that ain't gonna continue to work, is what I'm saying. Either you're gonna have to find some routes that move faster and get people open faster, or he just gonna have to be comfortable with throwing some away because you can't have the 11 sacks and really they gave up 12 sacks because the backup got sacked in the other game. But yeah, 12 sacks in 2 games ain't it. That ain't it. That's not a winning formula. That ain't gonna get you where you want to be, and you're about to start playing against people who are playing on Sunday soon.
And what sucks about this is Travis Hunter suffered a liver laceration against Colorado State. According to Skip Bayless, I think that was confirmed by Travis Hunter himself tonight. He says that he wanted to go back in and play, and he did go back and play, but he had a lacerated liver. You can't. Eventually, the adrenaline gonna wear off, and he is now going to be out 3 to 5 weeks. And it was on this dirty play right here by Chase Blackburn, number 11 for. Look at that. That was so dirty for Colorado State. And then he looked back and was talking trash to him. I don't really see how this wasn't an ejection. It was not a football play. It was I am here to hurt you. And it is one of it, and I think Travis Hunter and Colorado are going to have to figure out a way to combat that because this isn't the first team to try to go after him. Nebraska was out there body slamming him after the play.
Yeah. Okay. So there are a few different opinions I have about this. Now, like you said, this team is a prop. You set me up all week. You've made it very clear that y'all don't respect me. I do like teams sending a message. You're not going to just disrespect me. Now, I think that this probably went a little too far.
Boy, I would have folded that man Lee back on the next play. I dirty. Deion better than me. Deion better than me.
I think that I like sending a message. There's actually a clip that we were looking at yesterday. Should Colorado gets in there and does some of this stuff? I saw Shadur poke a defensive lineman in the eye.
Number 8.
Just like this. I was like, yo, you stuck your finger in that man's eye socket, bro. So,
but that was after this play, though. This play was in like the first quarter. This was the second drive, if I'm not mistaken.
But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna do all of this stuff, there's gonna be some stuff that comes with that. Absolutely now, I do think in hindsight,
I don't agree.
He should be ejected. And the other part is, like, if the referees miss it, I do think that the NCAA should have some type of contingency, because otherwise you kind of like, oh,
we missed it. Oh,
you got away with it. Yeah, there's nothing. Like, there's nothing that he can do now. And then you kind of get in the situation of with Norvell. Does he suspend the player for a dirty hit? If you don't, then you look like you condone that type of stuff. But also, we're trying to win football games.
So that's a point. Let's stop there. That's a point that we brought up. That you brought up. Norvell did not say. Colorado State did a lot of cheap shots the whole game. And he only addressed the penalties. And he said, I've never seen the penalties so lopsided in a game. But the majority, if not all of those penalties, were earned. I mean, they were doing dirty stuff. I mean, the offensive tackle, number 66, the play ran out of bounds. He went and just laid out the defensive lineman, DB. Just laid him out. And then had the nerve to argue. Number 8, he went and when he sacked he didn't sack him because Shador ended up completing the pass, but pile drove him into the ground, helmet to helmet. When you do stuff like that, listen, you had to give. You lucky. All I did was poke you in the eye. You lucky. That's all that happened. Because if it were me, because first off, I think Norvell, and this is just me, I think Norvell championed this. I think he said, "Go send a message. I'll take the 15-yard penalty," because that's what coaches do. I know he did it because that fires up your team. I would have the next. I don't hate that all the time, especially if y'all really like trying to jump me off. That's cool. I'm telling you right now, the next play, I ain't waiting till the next week. And Blackburn did get a little retribution because he was he got juked for the game tying touchdown. But I would have dove at his knee. I would have chop blocked him to break his leg. I would have tried to end his career. When you try to do something that dirty and you take my best player out, I'm trying to end your career. I want you to walk with a limp for the rest of your life. I want you to remember that I did something dirty and now I have to live with the consequences. I want you to be hurt forever. I want you to, every time you look down at your metal knee or your plastic hip or whatever you had surgery on, to say, damn, he did that to me in Boulder.
Titanium joint. Do not get that plastic, boy.
Whatever. You get whatever got to be replaced. I want you to keep, just like the quarterback from Notre Dame that got the rib around his chest. I want you to have your knee, and I want to be able to. I'd sign it. See, I'd be disrespectful, and I know that Norvell condoned it. I did like Norvell's energy in terms of how he scored. And how he was looking at the Colorado sideline and was like, F these mother effers. And he was going off. Yeah. And I like Colorado State's defense up until the fourth quarter. Their defense played about that defensive coordinator, black dude, got about as much out of that defense as he could. I mean.
Sometimes that's it. They're not a good team. They're a team that's trying to get better. They're in the same boat as Colorado. Hey, man, we won 3 games last year. If we could win 5, the season is a success. So, they're trying to figure it out too. I don't hate the sending the message. I hate the result of the sending the message. Like a lacerated kidney is serious. That's very serious.
He's out 3 to 4 weeks, and you've effectively ended my I think any chance they had against Oregon and USC, and I think they play UCLA after that, is done without Travis. Because whether you like it or not, once Travis went out is when number 14 started going off. I went back and watched the game. And he had 13 catches for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns or whatever, something like that. He was going crazy. But when Travis was in there, he wasn't doing nothing.
He was cruising across the middle on drags and digs like it was going out of style. Hey, I'm open. Hey, I'm open. And I was like, now some of that is you just can't let that happen. Like, you got to stop that. You might need to go into a zone, but you just can't let people just cruise across. They were getting torched. And once again, like, I think that these players are good, and I think they're good football players. You're like, every week, the level of competition is going to go up.
Thank you, Nessa. Thank you, Rodney.
If you don't fix that this week, then you definitely better fix it next week, because Oregon is going to try to put up 81 points. They're going to try to basketball you.
Colorado better figure out how to run the ball. Colorado better figure out, I think for the first time, and we'll move on, but for the first time in this season, we saw the inexperience of coaching. They made almost no adjustments. They were doing the same thing the whole game.
You can't do that.
Not against
because Kamara was getting after him. Number 8, he was getting there.
He was whooping their ass. He was whooping that offensive line. That offensive line, I'd make them run forever. Actually, I can't make them run because they're too small. You can't make them run. I don't know what I would do. Up, downs, push-ups, roll, bear crawl, something.
And you can't afford for nobody to get hurt. Hell, you need everybody.
Yeah, so it's going to be rough. But one thing about Deion, why I think they're going to be okay in the next year or two, is because Deion is a salesman. And I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask all our viewers, too. We appreciate y'all, everybody tuning in. Thank you for tuning back in with us after the Chinese weather balloons. Our Splashcast versus the world. So we have a chat. We told y'all we have an Instagram chat. We're actually working on getting a Discord server. So you can see every Discord servers are like Instagram chats on 1,000, on 1 billion. They said in the chat that Deion and Mike Norvell, his name is, no, it's not Mike. Coach Norvell for Colorado State hatched this plan for him to say, I take off my glasses and my hat. And then Deion the next day released his sunglass line and sold $4.5 million at $67 a piece. $4.5 million in 3 days? Over the weekend, he sold $4.5 million worth at $67 a piece. And the conspiracy theory is that Deion called him, told him to say this, and this is why. And it's a compelling argument. 1, Deion makes the sale. 2, nobody really knew about Colorado State at all before this. Before that, I hope they hear this in Boulder. Nobody cared about Norvell. I didn't know who Norvell was. I didn't know anybody on Colorado State's team. I had no plans of watching them. 3, they are now going to get, they got a lot of transfers too. They are now going to get more recruits because they played really, really well. 4, they are going to now be pursued by the Pac-12 because Colorado is now leaving and going to the Big 12 and everybody else is leaving. And the Pac-12 has already said, we are going to pick teams from the Mountain West and whatever other conference they got. So now Colorado State has a chance to become, and while I know you're going to laugh because it's the Pac-12, but you got to start rebuilding somewhere, to now become the flagship school of the new Pacific, whatever you want to call it. 8, 12, 4, 2, whatever. It sounds like it makes sense. If that happened, then that's a 3-dimensional chess move. But I don't know if I'll give them that much. But it's smart though. It's smart now.
That would be an elite move. That is game planning on top of game planning. And if they did, then they just put off one of the greatest
capers
plots ever. Now, also congratulations to you guys who bought $4.5 million in blenders. I had blender sunglasses years and years ago. I'm glad you guys finally got hip. But yeah, I think
come on.
the owners
make sure you go to a
said
scientist and get another arm to pat yourself on the back. Jeez.
It's growing in right here. But yeah, they also said the owner of Blender Sunglasses said we found our Jordan.
No, you didn't. you found a good person, but Jordan, that's a lofty expectation.
I mean, you got to think about it though. Like, it's a sneaker company versus sunglass company. They probably ain't sold no $4.5 million in sunglasses, and the sunglasses are like $60 a piece. These ain't even like $150 Ray-Bans. These are affordable price sunglasses.
I guarantee you, Jackson State gonna have some. I guarantee you, Jackson State gonna have some. And if I'm HBCU, if I'm Dion, I'm sending the whole. I would send that out. But all right, so we talked about it. Colorado, I think they end up in the season with 3 losses. They are going to get beat by
what?
Oregon, USC.
And the other part is, if you go to Blender Sunglasses, it is literally Blenders/Prime. We coming. Pre-order now. But yes, I think that Colorado has way more than 3 losses. I think that they're probably in the 5 to 6 range.
Yep. Well,
because USC, Oregon, UCLA, that's quick 3. Then I think that
Oregon State gonna be. I think they beat Oregon State personally.
They also got to beat Washington and Washington State. And Washington.
Oh, Washington is 4. Washington is 4. Washington got all 25-year-olds, and they good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's if they just. I don't think that they're like, from what I've seen from these 2 last games, these are 2 teams that are not really that good. You were in dogfights, fighting for your life against what would consider to be the bottom rung of this conference.
I mean, it would still So what were your expectations of Colorado?
Oh, I mean, for me, I think they're gonna have a mediocre season. They're gonna be around 500.
Is that's not a win for them?
That's an improvement. Yes, they went from a bad team to a mediocre team. But I think that most people believe that they went from a bad team to now they're a good team. That's the reason I ask people, do you believe that they're a top 25 team? Do you think they end this season as top 25? I don't think they end the season as top 25.
No. Top 25, you have to have you got to have like 2 losses. You can't have more than 2 losses or maybe 3 to be in the top 25. Now,
and they got to be 3 really impressive losses.
If they lose to USC and if they lose close games, they could, but they're gonna have to beat one of those teams in order to stay in the top 25. They're gonna have to beat Oregon or USC or Washington or UCLA. They're gonna have to beat one of those 4 teams, and if you want to throw in Oregon State and Washington State, they're gonna have to win 3 of those 7 games in order to stay be considered for the top 25. But even with that, that's still a win. It's still a win. What else we had? So,
wait, hold on. One more thing. Do you think Shedeur comes back next season?
If he continues averaging 300, 400 yards a game, no. He's right now the third quarterback in the draft to be drafted, according to most draft experts. He is number 3 right now. I am impressed with Shedeur's deep passing and his passing on the run and how he climbs the pocket. I think he needs to work on his footwork. I think he needs to work on his getting rid of the ball, but I don't know if that's just him or if that's the offense that they run. But I think he has things that he can improve on. But I mean, I think he could be. Huh?
You think he's better than?
I think he's on par with Drake May. Drake May is considered.
At the end of the season, do you think that he will be better or worse than Anthony Richardson was?
He'll be a better passer. He's already a better passer. I don't know about a better athlete. I think he'd be a better quarterback. He's a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. Yeah. Yes. Anthony Richardson is fast. He's fast. He's big. But I mean, Thoughts and prayers to him too. He had a really good game until he had a concussion. But
I like that kid, man. I like him more and more the further he gets away from Florida.
Me too. Ha ha ha. He gets away from Florida and then he gets better. Isn't that something? Has a better career when he leaves.
Yeah, man.
The jokes will never they will never. You wrote
Get
this
away
script.
from Billy. Get away from Billy.
From Florida. Get
It's
away from
amazing
Florida.
how he got especially until he got the concussion. He looked like a hell of a quarterback.
Tell me. Yeah. And what did he go at Florida? 6-4? Lord.
Hey, Billy's trash.
Well, I mean, that game against Georgia, it wasn't Billy, but I mean, that was also generational defense, Georgia. So, let's talk about the SEC.
Short the box with God.
Let's talk about the SEC real quick. So, surprise. Missouri is 3-0. Now, I'm not surprised that they beat Kansas State. I'm not real big on Kansas State. I never really am. And they played them at home. So, but Missouri can be a spoiler for y'all.
Missouri is 3-0 while you playing.
That's what I said, 3-0.
Undefeated. They beat a top 15 team. Now, I don't trust them, but I feel like you're right. They can just get in there and ruin a couple people's seasons and then get on out of there.
Crazy.
And I think that for them, that's actually a W. Like, that will get them. If you can ruin a couple people's seasons, then people will be like, hey, man, this program is moving in the right direction. Maybe if I just get that next player that we can compete.
Oh, they already got him. They got Luther Burden, who is probably a top 2 receiver in the league, in the nation right now. They got the highest rated recruiting class that they've ever had. They got like the top 5 recruits coming in.
Okay, Sneaky, I see. We're gonna revisit that.
No, Sneaky ain't. I'm telling you, Shador is a better quarterback he's a better. See, you saying he's not a better football player means that he can tackle better, he can run up downs, and he can sprint faster. But to be at his position, Shador right now is a better passer than Anthony Richardson. Right now.
Okay.
Even in the same spot. If Anthony Richardson in his junior year, Shador is leaps and bounds ahead of where he was his junior year. Leaps and bounds, or sophomore year, whatever it was. Leaps and bounds ahead of where he was. I think Shador is better than Anthony Richardson at Jackson State. But we won't get in there. Missouri, 30-27. Hey, man, y'all better watch out for them in the SEC East. Georgia won. Georgia was down 14-3 at halftime against South Carolina. And I said what did I tell you in Saturday Morning Live? I said, I hate Mike Bobo. I said, this is the game every year that Mike Bobo would blow. Every single year that he was in his first stint at offensive coordinator. Every single year under Mark Richt. We go play South Carolina, and we'd have, at one point, Mike Bobo had Todd Gurley, Keith Marshall, Sony Michel, and Nick Chubb. What is George Pickens doing?
Right. He just jumped up in the air.
And then punched him in the face. It kept going.
I could not wait for him to be Atlanta Falcon, dog. I will pay my own money to get him on our team. He's so crazy. And you know I love crazy people. Look at this. Just jump. All right. Denzel Ward. If he jumps, just tackle him. Stupid boy. You look like you're trying to lift him up. You look like a base cheerleader.
This is why I love Monday Night Raw. Because you get to see our real reaction to Monday Night Football as we talk about other stuff.
Oh, crazy ass Pickens, yo. And he got 3 receptions for 100
at a touchdown. He is cooking them. Look at that. Another reception. Oh no. He dropped that one. But back to Georgia. So I told y'all Mike Bobo, this was the game that I was scared of because Mike Bobo always seems to call a terrible game against South Carolina. In the first half, we were down 14-3. And then Juice Williams got hurt for South Carolina. And that was that. The defense came out in the second half, and Georgia just absolutely annihilated South Carolina in the second half. They scored 21 unanswered points. And and they could have scored more, but it is the end of the game. This is interesting. I do think Shane Beamer is building. He is the man for South Carolina. I think he is building something special over there because he is utilizing that portal, unlike that other school in South Carolina where they about to fire that coach. You heard it here first. They about to fire that man. Dabo. But Georgia won 24-14. So it'll be interesting, man. Well, it won't be interesting because we only play 3 other good teams. We play Missouri, Tennessee, and Florida, and Auburn, if you count Auburn. I don't know what Auburn is, so we'll see.
Me neither. I did get an update. I don't know if this is factual. This is just things that people are sending me. Say that Nick Chubb tore 3 ligaments tore 3 ligaments and dislocated his knee. That is off. As far as Georgia goes,
that's career threatening. Damn.
As far as Georgia goes, man, I have my expectation of who you guys are and who you guys have showed up to be has been disappointing. I thought that this was going to be y'all season of world beaters, and y'all are kind of pedestrian.
Why? Hold on. Why? I told you this in the offseason. I said if you gonna beat Georgia, this is the year to do it. New coordinator, new quarterback, new running backs, and our top receivers. One is hurt, the other one transferred. This is the year to beat. This is the year to beat them on offense.
Y'all look pedestrian, and I was like,
on defense,
y'all to whoop South.
I listen. You gotta listen to me when I talk about. I told you that I was like, look, man, this is the game. This is the game. Now I expect the offense to look better, but I don't like Bobo. Bobo can go. You can fire him tomorrow. Go get a passing game coordinator or something. But moving on. Florida beats Tennessee at home. How do you feel about this?
I knew that this was a plausible situation before the game. I think if y'all remember correctly, I've been telling y'all all year that I did not believe in Tennessee. I kept telling people, hey, keep your hopes and dreams for Tennessee very realistic. Don't get, because, at one point they're like, oh, this is one of the best teams in the country. This is their season. I was like, that's a lie. It's not true. It's not going to happen. I think that this is not a big surprise for me. I think that Florida put everything together in this game. This will probably be their best game of the season, I assume.
They did not. Go ahead. I'll let you finish because it's your team.
But I think this is as good as it gets for Florida, and I think that this is about where Tennessee is.
That is disheartening to hear if I were a Florida fan.
It's a realistic expectation. Billy Napier is not going to start calling plays that are good plays. We're always going to get a decent amount of good players. I don't think that, whatever recruiting says, I think that Florida always has a pretty decent chance. And when we find a quarterback that's good, we're always going to compete for a national championship. A lot of it is coaching for us. And we continuously pick the wrong guys, and they put us in the wrong position. And Graham Mertz wearing 15 drives me nuts. That's egregious because he's trash.
So I watched this game. Florida was definitely at home. They got a lot. Any borderline call went Florida's way the whole game. Tennessee, Joe Milton. I understand that you can throw the ball 72 yards like Anthony Richardson. I understand that you can run a 4.5 and you a big dude. Bruh, some of them throws them interceptions that he was throwing were, who is that? Ford.
A touchdown.
Wow. And he already got one too. He tired.
Dog tired.
Tennessee. I don't know what y'all were doing. If I'm Hendon Hooker, I'm sending Tennessee, or Tennessee should send him a fruit basket, because apparently he was the man. him and Jalen Hyatt from last year, because y'all look absolutely. Oh, he was down. Y'all look absolutely awful against Florida. Tennessee looked.
They look
Absolutely awful. They look as bad as
like
you
who
say
they are.
Tennessee is. They look worse than underwhelming. Underwhelming means that I thought you were better. I thought Tennessee looked awful this game. The defense looked bad. The offense looked bad. And then this game ended with a giant brawl. Uh-oh, Mika Fitzpatrick hurt. Oh, he's throwing up. Mika.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
This game ended with the brawl. So if it's not the Dogs' year this year, then who? I think this is the first year, Sneaky, to answer. This is the first year that the SEC is probably wide open. It's wide open. I mean, you may have, what was that one year? You had Auburn, South Carolina one year. I think you had Auburn versus Missouri another year. Like, it's gonna be, you could have one of them, because we'll get to Alabama. But this game ended in a giant brawl too, and now Florida has to go. Do y'all go to South Carolina? They have to go to South Carolina next week, down 4 players for the first half, because they've all been suspended because of that brawl.
It's 1 Tennessee player, 3 Florida players. They're going to be out the first half. At the end of the game, it got tricky, because I get it from a quarterback perspective. You're trying to run out as much time as possible before you take the knee. But also, if you're just backing up and kind of playing a little bit,
I'm going to come hit you.
Job is to tackle you. Yeah. We're trying
you.
to tackle you. We're not trying to let you just run out the clock here.
And it wasn't a malicious hit either. It wasn't malicious. Yeah. He kind of hit him and was like, boom, he belly bumped him. Get out the way.
And then after that, it just kind of went left. I think that the coaches could have handled this a lot better.
Coaches let it. They showed Billy. Your man Billy and his staff was sitting there like this, watching it.
And the other part was, you let the man put his, like, it's one thing if a guy hits your guy, you go grab it. He went right to put his hands up like, let's fight. I'm like, as soon as you do that, you gotta go. And then when you put your hands up like you're gonna fight, you don't even have to hit them. You don't even have to win, and you're gonna be suspended. At least with the grab, like, you should be able. Yeah, you should be able to smack, and like, you should be able to grab and slam. At least make sure you get the W if you're gonna be suspended.
Oh, Minka hurt his sternum. In that brawl, it is what it is. I already think South Carolina has a chance to. I guess this would be an upset because y'all are ranked. I already think South Carolina has a chance to beat y'all.
Are we ranked? Or
y'all
we gotta
will
be like 25 on the nose.
Yeah, y'all entered the rankings. Yeah. Because y'all lost to Utah. Utah's undefeated. So I think Florida and South Carolina will be a decent game. I think Florida, after looking at y'all's schedule, y'all have a chance to get to the Georgia game like 6-1, 7-1.
Boy, no. And do what when we get there? Okay, we're ranked 25th in the AP poll. We are unranked in the coaches poll. Nah, bro. And every one of these teams minus Tennessee is better than us. And who's Tennessee have left it?
I think y'all beat South Carolina. I think y'all can beat Missouri. I think y'all beat Kentucky. I think y'all beat Vanderbilt. I think y'all beat whoever y'all.
Don't think that.
Who's y'all SEC West team? Who's y'all SEC West team y'all play this year? LSU? Oh yeah, y'all gonna lose that game.
We could lose to Kentucky. Hell, we lost to Vanderbilt just last year. We could lose to South Carolina. We gonna lose to Georgia. We gonna lose to LSU. Hell, we probably gonna lose to Florida State. And I gotta see who Missouri is at the end of the season, bro. Hey, you gotta be very real with who we are, and know that. Hey,
so you saying y'all are pretenders right now?
No, I don't think that any. Let me tell you this: if you believe that the Florida Gators are pretending, then you're a fool. They ain't pretending. They ain't contending. We play Charlotte, so this is a warm-up game this week. It don't matter.
Well, they got all these old people on the Golden Bachelor. All these women old. I don't nobody want to see that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a Golden Bachelor, you need to have. I'd want the youngins. Listen, if I'm 70, I'm trying to go out on a blaze of glory. Like, I ain't trying, whatever. Then back to sports. Another
get yourself out of there, Blair.
Another team in Florida. Florida State beat Boston College 31-29. I told you in Saturday Morning Live, I said, hey, this is a game, a trap game for them, because they still got I think they play Duke and North Carolina in the next couple of weeks. And Boston College typically plays Florida State tough. Boston College and North Carolina State always play Florida State tough, even though they're outmatched. Historically, those have always been good games.
I don't know what happened. I was watching, and Florida State was just up, whooping their ass. We were at brunch with a mimosa tower. Things was going my way. And I was like, yeah, let's, they were pretty much embarrassing them. And then from the time that we left the brunch spot and got to the house, I looked at the score at 31-29, and they almost lost.
I watched this game. Florida State was up 20 points in the fourth quarter at the beginning of the fourth, and they were up 14 points or 16 points with 4 or 5 minutes to go. And Boston College got a quarterback now. I ain't saying he good, but he can run. Yeah, Boston, you're right, Sneaky. Boston College is president of the Trap Game County. You are correct. He can run, and they just was like, all right, we're not going to throw the ball no more. We're going to run play action or quarterback sneak. That's all we doing. And they did that all the way down the field in like 40-yard chunks. And the only reason they lost is because they blew it at the end of the game on a face mask that gave Florida State the win. Otherwise, they had stopped them on third and 7. George Pickens is going absolutely insane. They had stopped them on 3rd and 7 and were about to get the ball back to go kick a field goal. All them people that everybody thought were studs on Florida State, all were duds. Like, all of them. Boston College was out there playing. I think Jordan Travis actually got hurt too.
Yeah, he hurt his wrist. He came back and played the rest of the game, but you could tell like his hand-wrist situation was never the same after that.
Yeah. So Florida State has some games coming up pretty soon. Like I said, they played Duke, who is undefeated in the ACC. They played North Carolina. They played North Carolina coming up. They play Clemson. Florida State can make their way to the NCAA playoff just because there's nobody else in the ACC. And what's funny
Clemson,
is
23 and unranked. Trash.
What's funny about the ACC and the Pac-12 is the Pac-12 started out 17-0 for the first time in conference history in the last year of the conference, which is wild. You have Colorado, USC, Washington, UCLA, and Oregon State are all ranked. I think that's the most Pac-12 teams that have been ranked at one time in the last 15 years. And it's about to be over with. Florida State. Let's get to the ACC. Back to the ACC is why I said this is funny and why I brought up expansion and leaving in the Pac-12. Florida State. Well, let's start with SMU. So, SMU is reported to have been, who is going to join the ACC along with Cal and Stanford. We reported that. The ACC did not want SMU, or they did not pursue them. SMU pursued this to join. And they offered to say that they will cover 7 to 9 years of media rights revenue to join the Power 5 conference, which means they will give up that revenue and if the ACC will take them. That equates to about $200 million. As of last Saturday, they have already raised $100 million from SMU alumni and non-alumni to join the ACC, which the ACC has already graciously accepted. It's hard to offer $200 million and they be like, no. Especially when they fighting for survival. It's very, very interesting that these teams, and this has happened, and that they are going to have SMU, Cal, and Stanford in the ACC. I figured there's got to be a fourth squad though, because there'd be uneven conferences.
And they probably
or divisions. I'm sorry, divisions.
Yeah. I think that this is tricky because my first question is, can SMU get the death penalty again? Because you know they got it in 1987 for the Pony Express and all the things that they were doing.
Nope. Oh, that's legal now.
Well, you're right. Correct. That was my big concern, and I mean, you still can get in trouble, i.e., Harbaugh. But that would be my concern number one. The commitment of 7 to 9 years of media rights being covered by donors. Them people paying $100. I mean, $100 million. Excuse me, $100 million is very interesting to me.
Why? That's oil money. They've always had money at SMU. They've always had money. They just got the death penalty. I mean, that's how they got the death penalty, because they were just throwing around money.
It's a lot to me, but I think it will be a good move for the program. If there is a conference that I think that you can go to and kind of compete pretty quickly, and it'll give you a direct line to a playoff spot, it is the ACC.
They did this in a week,
so I can't understand how it makes sense, but it does look a little trick baggy to me.
Yeah, Again, there's no way that this is healthy for the student athletes, especially on the West Coast. They're going to have to fly across country every 2 weeks for 5 months out of the year, every year.
But it's not like football has the most money. You got to consider like the bowling team, the swimming team, softball. That's where it gets problematic. Now with the big money sports, it's the little money sports.
Well, I think it's for the ACC. The play isn't football here to me. The play is basketball, because the Big 12 has tried, and is the Big 12 Big 12 has tried to supplant the ACC as the premier basketball conference, and I mean they ain't really done a bad job between Baylor and Kansas. And Texas Tech made it to the Final Four. All them teams have made deep runs in the basketball. So they're
trying their damnedest. I will give you that. They're definitely
so basketball wise, I think this is a basketball. This is a basketball play for them. So we'll see what the ACC looks like. I think there's a lot of moving parts here. So we'll see. This weekend though, week 4, we finally start real conference play. We finally get real rivalry games. I mean, Florida, Tennessee is a rivalry game. Georgia, South Carolina is a rivalry game. But
we play Charlotte this week.
Florida. But what I'm saying is, these games here, you got Florida State, Clemson. You got Colorado, Oregon. You got UCLA, Utah. You got Oregon State, Washington State. You got Ole Miss, Alabama. Let's talk about it real quick. Alabama. They won 17-3 over South Florida. And it really wasn't 17 points. They looked like they should only have scored 6. It should have been a 6-3 game. Alabama did all that talking in the offseason. And they looked even softer than they did. This is the softest I've seen the offensive line ever.
I don't know anything about Alabama for sure, but they don't. Out of all 3 guys they have, none of them are competent quarterbacks. That is I asked for Milroe to be fired. I was like, hey man, he ain't it. And then I saw them other 2 play, and then
they went right back. They said, Milroe, you the starting quarterback again.
Yeah, like that's as good as it gets, maybe.
But even with Milroe though, their offensive line allowed like 5 sacks to South Florida. One dude had 3 sacks by himself.
Because he ain't no quarterback. He needs to play another position.
But he wasn't in the game.
At the end of the day,
that was against the other quarterbacks. That the offensive line still allowed 5 sacks. 5 against South Florida.
Alabama is not notoriously known for having the best of quarterbacks. I think that they mostly managed to have pretty decent game managers outside of Tua and Jalen Hurts. Mostly just guys who can they complete open passes, don't make a ton of stupid mistakes. But
I mean,
I watched
they
Milroe
had a run of what,
and
3 straight first round pick quarterbacks, right? Well, no, Jalen was second round.
And
Mac Jones,
Jalen too. Man, we gotta stop talking about Mac Jones like he is legit. That is a trap. That's fool's gold. And I told y'all he was never nothing and never gonna amount to nothing. So sure, he was drafted wherever, but he is booty cheeks. That's it. But yeah,
I'll ask you a
even
question
with
when
that,
we get to NFL.
I definitely don't trust any of those guys attempting to play quarterback on that team.
ACC just gonna be the CC, the Coast Conference.
That's what they said. The Atlantic Pacific Coast Conference, the PAC, is what they want to call it.
Nobody cares about BYU, Kansas, Ohio State. I mean, Penn State, Iowa. I hate Iowa because they are so boring to watch. They get all. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. And they say it on ESPN. I can say it here. They get all the white DBs they can find, and they play 14-7 football. Luka Van Ness almost beat the Falcons by himself now. But the game of the weekend, from what I've seen here, is going to be Ohio State. Dang, sneaky. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Number 6 versus number 9. Notre Dame's defense versus Marvin Harrison Jr. and the no-name quarterback at Ohio State versus and then Ohio State's defense versus Notre Dame's tight ends and run game in South Bend, and I believe that is going to be a night game. That should be fun to watch.
Ohio State should have kept Quinn Ewers.
No, well, I mean, they didn't have a choice in that. Quinn Ewers left.
Yeah, well, in hindsight, you need that kid. Is what I'm saying. Well, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I plan to be locked in. No traveling this week. I am going to be here. 3 screens going. I'm trying to see everything at the same time.
Thank the Lord, no traveling. I've been traveling the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Though I traveled for a month straight.
I'm not trying to see Florida and Charlotte play. Gators just take care of business. And I honestly think Clemson versus Florida State is going to be a very interesting game.
Back with the NFL. Shout it back with the NFL. Where do I want to start? There's only one place to start. The Falcons are 2-0, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Falcons are 2-0. 2-0. I don't. Did you ever post our picks for the season?
No, I'm gonna post those tomorrow.
I picked the Falcons to go 6-0 in our division. Yes, that is lofty, and likes. Don't forget the likes. Make sure y'all like our stuff too. Appreciate you, Sneaky. I picked the Falcons to go 6-0 in our division. We are on our way. We beat the Panthers, and we stole this game versus the Packers. We stole this game versus the Packers, which is what you have to do sometimes. You got to steal the game. But this man right here, Bijan Robinson, Bijan is the real deal, dog. Look what he did to this dude right here. Cut, set you up, cut again, and then I'm going to go. That was a 22-yard run that should have been stopped for 3. Oh, my Lord.
Was out of position. He was beat. He was beat before. He was moving way too fast. Pursuit angle terrible. He was whooped ass right there. But you, son, you missed a tackle. 20, you over pursued. And
let's watch it one more time. I want you to see this. You see how when he runs, he sets you up. I don't know if y'all can see the arrow, the hand right here. He's facing to the boundary, so you don't know when he's going to cut. And boy, when that knee buckle, 26, Lord, you did a split. What were you saying?
But for me, the thing that I like the most is he finds a way to, like you said, square his body. He has really good balance. So a lot of running backs, I feel like, would have gone down on the first cut. If not the first cut, definitely the second cut. That guy kind of falls, you get a decent amount of yards, so it looks good. But for him to square his body all the way up and to kind of rebalance,
that's uncanny.
And he's running through traffic. Like, if it's just you and 2 guys and you beat him, like you beat the first guy because he over pursues, you beat the other guy in the open field, that's your job. Bijan is doing this and running through copious amounts of traffic. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Bijan can make somebody fall in the phone booth. Like all of the look at this cut. This is in the hole. Like
it's good. It's good blocking too, though.
Yeah, and he came to a zone blocking team. Oh my Lord. And he looks good, man. Bijan looks like the real deal. He played really, really well. I still don't like how Arthur Smith is using Tyler Algier. I think that he could be utilized so much better. And I think what it's looking like is he's getting lost in the shuffle, and I don't like that. I have a problem. Yeah. But Bijan, I mean, when you have 23 touches for 172 total yards, I mean, I see why you feed him. But the thing I don't like about what the Falcons did is Arthur Smith doesn't seem to know how to disguise when he's trying to get somebody the ball. If he's trying to get the ball to Drake London, he's going to throw the ball to Drake London 7 straight times. If he gets the ball to Kyle Pitts, he's going to throw the ball to him 4 straight times. Like, it's like, I said it before and I say it again. We need a passing game coordinator. We need one. We need a passing game coordinator.
I like that he's intentional, and I think that he does that to build confidence in these young players. Mm-hmm. But with that said, you got to do it in a way where they're going to be able to be successful. We still really haven't seen anything out of the passing game that we want to see yet. And I think it's because we force a lot of things. And I would say Arthur Smith is not the best first half coach. Second half, one thing about him I will say, first half, he's very similar to like Desmond Ridder to me. The first half of the game, you are stressed. You borderline like, what are you doing? And then second half, you be like, oh, you got it now. And it's either you made excellent adjustments or you just need to be punched in the mouth. That's what one of the guys said about Desmond Ridder. Once he gets hit a couple times, then suddenly he becomes a whole different quarterback. But until then, he's super cautious.
He was talking big noise to because the Falcons fans were kind of booing him, and Packers fans were kind of booing him. He got real spicy when he threw that touchdown to Drake London, and it was on Jair Alexander too. And Alexander talk a lot of noise too. And once he got spicy, he started throwing the ball all over the field, and I was like, okay, Desmond.
But you can't. I feel a little confused because you can't get sensitive because you're not playing well.
Because you're not good.
Yeah, like that's the thing, bro. If you don't want these people yelling at you, just don't. Because he threw 1 pick. He should have thrown 3 picks.
Yeah, the Packers. I don't know. I was like, Lord Jesus.
It's 2 of them that hit them dead center in their chest. They dropped. Now AJ Terrell dropped 1 too. So. Hey, man, that's the reason y'all play defense and not offense.
AJ Terrell dropped the pick 6.
But definitely, if you go back and watch this tape, especially in the first half, Desmond, you
were awful.
You got to take it.
You look like Georgia in the first half. It's the same thing.
Yes. This Georgia from this year, not any other Georgia in the last 5
years. But, again, somehow we ended up with he had almost 300 yards passing. Like we ended up with 446. That's an increase from whatever he had the first week. 446 total yards. And I remember we spoke about it on Saturday Morning Live. The Packers' weakness is their linebackers. Their strength is their interior line on defense anyway, and their secondary. And for the first half, they was shutting the Falcons down. And then
it was ugly.
For whatever happened, he started throwing the ball to Drake London. I was like, thank you, Lord, because I got him on my team. And he started doing well.
My thing is that we've had 2 pretty solid offensive games. And I don't think that anybody in their right mind would say that our offense has played that good. 446 yards, considering what Desmond Ridder looked like for the first half of this game, is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I will say Desmond Ridder his biggest thing for being drafted was the intangibles, being a good leader, being cautious. They call him a good. What does our homeboy Nick say in the Splashcast chat? He's a leader of men. He seems to have embraced this leadership role. Yeah, that game. Yeah. He has embraced the city. He's saying he's embraced the fans that show up. He said that, there's the commentator tried to say, there's, you guys seem like you guys are down on the mat and you guys were kind of about to give up. And he said, there's no give up.
No, we don't.
Don't ever. And he cut him off. He said, don't you ever say that. We don't ever give up. As long as there's time on the clock, we will, what a catch. We will play. So I like his intangibles. He looks like a good leader.
But your tangibles got to start tangible.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're gonna go get somebody else. And you
have all the intangibles in the world. They're trying to get W's, and I mean, I hate to say it, but the rest of the team has looked pretty good. The defense has been but don't break. We still waiting to get Jeff Okuda back.
Yeah, okay. Before we get to the rest of the innings, but I'm sorry, we an Atlanta-based podcast. I got to bring up the point. Defensive coordinator. Never in your right mind should you ever drop 16-year NFL vet defensive tackle 6'8" Calais Campbell in coverage. There is no way you should ever do that ever. Don't ever drop him in coverage again. They went right on around him. And I was like, bro, what you thinking? That out coaching yourself, and that's what I noticed with the Falcons. We seem to out coach ourselves. And we just do what we're supposed to do and coach the way we're supposed to coach. We will out physical teams a lot. We'll make it quit.
I think that I like Calais Campbell as a pickup, but you need to, if you don't know by now, he is two things. He is old and slow. Now, that don't mean he's not going to be a good football player, because I think he knows where to be before everybody else does. I think that his experience is his advantage, but he ain't fast.
The whole second half, they used him to. He is the ultimate set the edge defensive end in the 3-4. And that's all they used him for in the second half. Set the edge. I was like, well, damn. Just, do that. Don't put him in the flat no more. Don't ever do that. I was like, what the hell?
What you doing in the flat? Get the hell out of here.
Our chat was, what the fuck? Arthur Smith, what are you doing? Is Calais Campbell in coverage? I'm changing the channel. That was my 5 messages. I was like, this is insane. And I was around old folks. I wasn't even supposed to be cussing, but I was cussing.
Well, we can't wait until the second half before we start playing football. We need to try to get a lead. We're really a team built for a lead, not to come back from behind. We can't really throw the ball that effectively consistently.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Let's get to your boy, though.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Because your boy, Baker Mayfield, and the Bucks are 2-0. And him and Mike Evans look like they are the new duo in Tampa Bay, even though Mike Evans said he's leaving after this year because they're not going to pay him. Yeah, I ain't never seen that before.
If I was Baker, I'd be inclined to go with Mike.
Anywhere you want to go. Might go back to L.A. Never know. They already got that Paku dude, and you add Mike Evans with Baker. It's kind of crazy.
I don't know who. I'll call him Pokashevsky. I was like, who is this dude?
He's from BYU.
For most receptions. Yeah, most receptions. Through 2 games of rookie ever with like 25. He ain't going crazy. But yeah, I told y'all that Baker Mayfield was a starting quarterback in the NFL. Y'all laughed at me. Oh, nah, he's toast. He's done. He'll never do it again. Baker Mayfield is 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, Baker Mayfield may or may not be the best quarterback in the NFC South.
He's performing best right now. He's the best performing quarterback in the NFC South right now. I ain't gonna say he's the best quarterback. He's performing better than everybody else.
And realistically, he's either 1 or 2.
Yeah. With that being said, There's another person that was on this field for the Chicago Bears. They threw a pick six. They fumbled inside their own 30-yard line, and that specifically led to 14 points from the Bucs.
Send him to me. Send him.
So without those turnovers, it's 17-13 Bears.
Send him to me. Desmond Ridder, congratulations on being 2-0. Justin Fields wants to come to Atlanta. I want him on the field.
So you would take Justin Fields over Desmond Ridder right now?
With my eyes closed.
Justin Fields looks bad. He looks, and then he threw his offensive coordinator and coach under the bus when he threw that pick six, which was a screen. I will say, calling a screen on the goal line is kind of wild crazy.
That sounds like baby Billy.
Called a screen on his own 2-yard line, and it turned out to be a pick six. It's kind of crazy. But he threw his coach under the bus. Said coach put him in a tough position with that call. DJ Moore, him and DJ Moore seem to be building a great rapport. But how long do you stick with Justin Fields? Because he missed a lot of passes. He missed a lot of people that were wide open.
What you want?
That whole game.
Number one, if you want Desmond Ridder, I will trade you right now. Second of all, Rodney, I 100% agree. He needs to get away from Chicago. They just showed somewhere
they did
Chicago
sabotage him.
And never had no wide receiver in the existence of their old ass franchise. It's not you, bro.
Justin Jefferson has more receiving yards than the leading wide receiver in franchise history for the Bears, which up until last year was Walter Payton.
Yes. So no, get out of there. Get the hell on. Will you probably have to do like a relief assignment somewhere? Maybe you don't get the starting job somewhere, but you get a chance. I'm a firm believer all you need is a chance. Also, look at what Jimmy G is doing out there with Las Vegas. Terrible. Fire him. There's so many places where you can go and get a job and get another chance that, I'm not going to blame Justin Fields. Is he playing fantastic? No. But do I think the large majority of this is organizationally based? Yes. So he's a bad quarterback playing for the Browns.
Yeah, it seems like he's like David Carr. I don't think David Carr was as bad a quarterback as everybody thought he was. He got sacked 85 times in his rookie year. At that point, it was 16 games. He only played 15 games, and he got sacked 85 times. Do y'all realize that's like 7 sacks a game? 6 sacks? Yeah. 7, 8 sacks a game? And then that's not including getting hit. That's just the sack. Other times, so he was shell-shocked. I think the same thing is happening to Justin Fields on a different wave. Like, the offensive play calling and players have been so bad that they can't. And Chase Claypool is awful.
He played so bad that they were like, bro, if you don't play better, we're going to trade you.
To anywhere. We'll trade you to the AFL. Don't matter.
Like, bro, yeah. For them to, like, you got to think, game one, people are confrontational about your effort, then you're in a bad space. There ain't no other answer other than you're in a bad space. And I hate to say it, but Kenny Pickett is out playing Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson just got another penalty for grabbing somebody by the face mask and throwing them to the ground. Let's stay in the NFC North, though.
Sometimes you just can't keep your hands off people, huh, Deshaun?
Well, he like people put his hands on him. But let's stay in the NFC North, man. So the Lions played the Seahawks. Safety CJ Gardner-Johnson told fans to wear blue ski masks for the game this season. For home games this season, it was reported Tuesday night that Amazon, one of the biggest marketplaces in the world, had sold out of blue ski masks hours after Gardner-Johnson told fans to make that and they showed up in full force in the blue ski masks, which was great. And what was great about this was the reporter.
Look at
the sideline reporter had on the blue mask. What were you saying?
Look at these Detroit fans. These look like the most Detroitist of fans. And there's one thing about when you do stuff like this, it is cool when it is cool. But they lost the game to the Seahawks.
I was setting it up. So they played the Seahawks. The whole city had it on, and then they play and they lose 37-31 in overtime. That defense and that offense that we thought was the offense played pretty well. That defense that we thought was really, really good allowed 37 points. Geno, who I said wasn't going to be as good this year as he was last year, DK, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett put on a clinic in the second half, and Kenneth Walker III got 2 touchdowns in the first half to keep them in it. The Seahawks actually won this game. But that's not the reason we even care about this game. The reason we care is because they trolled them afterwards. They had blue masks on in the locker room afterwards. I love a good troll job, Shawty. This is trolling.
This is what happens when you do super cool things. As long as you're winning, it's cool. It's all the fun in the world. When you lose, though, you know that boy said. You know that was the first thing he said. Hey, bro, I need a blue ski mask. Find it. I don't care how. I don't care where. Make sure I have a blue ski mask. It is imperative. I got business to handle this weekend. I love it. I love this. If you don't like it, beat them.
Yeah, you can't lose. I mean, that's what happens. So that was very, very interesting. That's Jackson Smith and Jigman in the background, actually. They played really well, man. So shout out to the Seahawks. Yo, Lions, don't make us look like a fool. Everybody finally believe in y'all. People finally believe in the Lions. They were picked to be the division champ by a lot of people.
No. Y'all wait till one more week. This Sunday, play like a fool. We need to get this W. And I think that this is a very winnable game for us.
Falcons play the Lions?
Yes.
Where? In Detroit? Or we playing them here? I think we play them at home. Yeah, we could beat them. They got a good offensive line though. Boy, the Browns defense is for real.
But the important part for me is we definitely need, especially Okuda, this would be a great game for you to come back and prove to everybody that you know that they messed up and made a mistake. Yeah, we need your help right now.
Yep. Let's move on to the NFC East. I'm going to start from the bottom and move my way up. Giants, what the hell are y'all doing? The Cardinals are actively tanking. They are starting Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. They are actively tanking. No shot at Josh. I mean, that is a shot at Josh Dobbs, but you know that you're not good. Like, you're not a starting quarterback.
Josh Dobbs, he played admirably.
But y'all were down 28-0, if I'm not mistaken. And then ran off 31 straight points, I believe, to win the game. There is no way that you should be down 28-0 against the Arizona Cardinals. There's no way that should happen. That should never happen. What are y'all doing? And now, y'all done paid all that money to Daniel Jones and put Saquon through the ringer for one year contract, and now he's out for 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain.
But man, we know how high ankle sprains go. That don't mean he's gonna be back in 3 weeks, and they don't know if in 3 weeks he's gonna be 100%.
If I'm Saquon, I'm not back in 3 weeks. Y'all paid me 1 year. I'm about to get paid next. I'm not rushing back. You crazy out your face? I'm not rushing back. No.
And show me what y'all can do without me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe y'all.
Daniel
got
Jones
much.
better have 700 yards, cause if they didn't score, they got beat 40 to nothing, and then they barely beat the Cardinals. Not looking good for the Giants, man. Not looking good.
Yeah,
When
it's looking like they are who they thought we were.
they are who we thought they
Giants.
were. We let them off the hook.
Trick bag.
Hey, that's against
Trick
the Cardinals
bag.
too. That was Cardinals quote. Denny Green.
Yep.
So the Giants, man, we gonna get that graphic too, man. Trick bag segment is coming soon to the Splash Cast. All these teams that y'all think
all
are
of the
good.
NFL and by half of college football.
Trick
gonna be the longest
bag,
segment we
trick
got.
bag, trick bag. The Washington, what are they? Commanders. They have 3 names in 3 years now. The Washington Commanders won a thriller of a game against Denver. I actually saw the end of this game when Denver actually caught the Hail Mary, down 8, caught the Hail Mary, and then Rodney with the shot at 28-3. Boy, that was in the Super Bowl. This is against the Cardinals. Chill out. Washington then stopped them on a controversial 2-point conversion where it looked like it was pass interference, but you weren't going to make that call at the end of the game. And they ended up winning 35-33. The Washington football team, I believe, is 3-0. 2-0. They are 2-0.
2-0. Denver is 0-2. Russell Wilson, 7 sacks. Can't do it. You're 0-2. You know what they're starting to say. They say if you keep playing like this, you're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to be see your husband and stop being a NFL quarterback. So you better figure it out here very soon. The other issue is he's their leading passer and their leading rusher.
Yeah, they have no running back. I don't know. And they got Sean Payton in there. If Sean Payton, they look tough. It's tough out there in Denver, and they gonna waste all that defensive talent too. Because I guarantee Patrick Surtain Jr. is out of there after next year.
Are y'all too good to call once again Kareem Hunt? Like that to me is I don't understand.
I think Kareem Hunt may be blackballed for some reason. There's too many teams that need a quarterback.
I was gonna say receivers, but Marvin Mims played out of his mind. You got Cortland Sutton. You got Jerry Jeudy.
Like they got weapons. They got weapons.
Yeah, that running back room is
slew.
That is not.
Shout out to
anything
Stunner.
to
Slew boy.
Nothing to write home about. You should definitely be contacting Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, Denver, y'all better figure it out soon and very soon. Washington, bro, we don't believe you. This is
trick bag.
No. I don't respect this game at all. You won it because that's who y'all played, but this team is not it's not competent.
Yeah. Let's go to the Kings of New York. The Dallas Cowboys won 30-10. 30-10 over the Jets. Now, the Jets did have Zachary Wilson and not Aaron Rodgers. The Cowboys, and aside from basically one long throw to Garrett Wilson, this was just utter domination. Micah Parsons Jr. looks Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons looks, I don't know who to compare him to. A lot of people say LT, which is cool. But I guess LT is the best comparison. But he's
so aggressive and he just wrecks. Wherever it is, when I get there, it's a problem for everybody.
He is scary, dog. The fact that they got DeMarcus Lawrence, who is playing out of his mind, and nobody's really talking about him because Micah Parsons Jr. is playing. Dallas may have the deepest defensive line in football. They play like 7 people, good people.
And y'all got to give Jerry credit, man. This is his pick. This is his guy. And he looks like a world beater.
Deshaun
Watson.
Lord,
Deshaun.
Fumble, return. Oh, wow. Pittsburgh has been playing out of their mind. We're watching the Pittsburgh versus Cleveland game. Pittsburgh is up 25-22 on a scoop and score by TJ Watt after Hightower had a strip sack.
Steelers and put their hands all over Washington.
Well, Deshaun been disrespecting him, throwing him around by the face mask. Lord, it's a lot of. We gonna get out of there. It's a lot of jokes. But Dallas, I'm gonna say this. I think Dallas is the best team in the league right now.
Show me that cup. Show me that can you got.
Sprite.
No, the other can. It was a different color. It was like orange or something else. What's that?
Tropicalia beer.
It ain't got no Fenty in there. No fentanyl.
Who's better than them right now?
Man, don't believe. Hey, do not believe the hype.
You didn't answer my question. Who's better than them right now? Name
The 49ers
anybody
for sure.
You think they're better than Dallas? I don't think the 49ers
Hell
are better
yeah.
than Dallas.
49ers defense is just.
I think
as
they're
good.
comparable. I would put Dallas 1, 49ers 2. Or 1A, 1B. I don't.
Intangible wise, I just know the Cowboys, they can't hold it together. I know they can't.
Oh, well, I mean, intangible wise, the 49ers can't get past. I mean, they always going to trick it off in the playoffs, just like the Cowboys. I mean, it's the same thing. Everybody just don't like the Cowboys. Yeah. You don't like Cowboys fans, so you don't like the Cowboys. But that defense is crazy.
I actually do like the Cowboys. I like Michael Parsons, and of course, I'm the only person who I like Jerry Jones, and I'm a big believer that Jerry Jones over the last probably 7 years has dominated Bill Belichick on the draft board. Like for whatever you say
don't
about
really draft well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's an accomplishment
to dominate
for a person
Bill
that
Belichick?
people say. Yes, because they say that Jerry's so crazy. Jerry's a lunatic.
Jerry is crazy. He is a lunatic. But him, and I keep saying this, yes, he's made good draft picks. You've got to see that Stephen Jones, a lot of this changed when Stephen Jones started being able to make these decisions as well. Jerry Jones, now the one philosophy that Jerry has had since 1980, whatever, when he bought the Cowboys, he gonna draft offensive linemen and he gonna draft defensive linemen. He believes in building out the trenches first. Every rebuild they have, they build out the trenches first, and then they get your quarterback, and then you get your skill positions after that. He's done that. Wow, Steelers defense is playing crazy. Oh. This dude Ford is kind of crazy though. This dude Ford is kind of crazy though. Oh Lord.
You got to I hate when NFL players start doing that pushing and they just try to push you down instead of form tackling and getting the guy to the ground.
Jerry he built out that offensive and defensive line, and they went and got that dude from Michigan. Who said he don't really like football, he just like beating people up, and he is beating people up out there. he's heavy-handed. I saw him club punch somebody in the shoulder, and the lineman went flying. I was like, oh, okay. And now they have made the decision to make Michael Parsons only a defensive end. No drop back in coverage, no middle linebacker, no weak side off ball linebacker. Nope. We are putting you at defensive end, and he is wreaking havoc. And they put him on the same side as DeMarcus Lawrence. It was him and DeMarcus Lawrence at the same side. And I said, ooh, he ran you over 54. Lord.
Hey, no, 54 was the person who got him down. I don't care how I did it. You need to talk to the first two people who had a shot at him and missed. My job is to get him out of there, y'all.
But yeah, man, I am thoroughly impressed. I did not mean to close that out. I am thoroughly impressed with the Cowboys defense so far. I think the Eagles were off. Speaking of, you said
the Eagles won by like 3 or 4 points. It was a game that they should. Hold on one second.
I don't think the Eagles played.
They definitely did. The Eagles played. Who did the Eagles play? The Eagles played the Vikings, and they won by 6.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It was a Thursday night football.
Correct.
Another fraudulent team. They about to get Kirk Cousins out of there. Amen.
Rightfully so. That's the last thing we need to do. We get him off the books. Hey, Justin, don't worry. You're going to get all the money. We're going to get the quarterback. We're looking at probably Justin Fields as a dual threat right now. We would really like to have you guys together for a long time.
Ugh. That'd be crazy. You brought up the 49ers before. Let's go to the NFC West. Yeah, they won. I don't know how they're doing this. They made Nick Bosa the highest paid defensive player. They made Nick Bosa the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. Then restructured the contracts of George Kittle, Trent Williams, and Eric Armstead. And the 49ers now have the most available cap space in the NFL.
They are cheating.
We just told y'all last week that they paid everybody. We showed you a graphic. There were 11 people up there, and they paid all of them. And now, by paying, that's a face mask, by paying all of them, they still have more money, which means they can still go add people. I don't know what they would add. One person we really haven't heard their name called this year is Deebo Samuel. There's just not enough football to go around. What is Deshaun doing? Deshaun looks horrible out there. Look at George Pickens.
I'm telling you, it's a whole lot of money for a guy who playing very extra regular. That cap here is like $58 million for him.
I mean, yeah, he set precedent. But the 49ers, man, it's hard to argue that they're not better than the Cowboys. They are on par. Again, 1A and 1B. I think the league is better when these two teams are good, and you add you need the Packers to be good too to get that 90s feel of Cowboys, 49ers, Packers, and Giants. The Giants are going to let us down, but 49ers are crazy. They look like they're about to run away with the NFC West. They're about to run away with the NFC West.
And Purdy just not stupid.
He ain't got to be. You got Shanahan over there with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Juszczyk, and all that defense. All that defense. Trent. And you got Trent Williams, who there is no dirty playing and trying to injure George Kittle because Trent Williams will beat everybody up in the league. So, I mean, he does 400-pound weighted dips. He's already 350 pounds. And he does 400-pound weighted dips and pull-ups. It's insane. So, they look like they're going to run away with it. I would say run away with the NFC West, which I think they will. The Cardinals are no. But the Rams, quietly as kept, I believe they're 2-0, right?
Rams lost yesterday.
To who? Was the dude that had 15 catches?
The Rams lost to the 49ers, 30-23.
Oh, yeah, they played 49ers. Cam Akers was deactivated right before week 2, and his name has been in trade rumors since he basically got hurt last year.
He was deactivated coach's decision.
Yep. And he was already there. He was deactivated like an hour before the game. So I think the Rams actually have like 11 picks in the 2024 draft, quietly as kept. The Rams are about to go into a rebuild. What the point I thought you were going to make, and I really have no way to refute it, is that dude Paku, I'm going to say Pacu, right? That set the record.
Puka Nacua. Pukanacua.
Puka. He actually lends credence to your, what play call was that? He lends credence to your Cooper Kupp is a product of the system. Because he's doing everything that Cooper Kupp does. 15 catches, 300 yards, couple touchdowns. I had been waiting on you. That's why I said it now, so I could kind of take the sting away from that point. I've been waiting on you to say that point since old boy started going crazy. Now, him and Cooper Kupp together looks like he could be a very formidable duo for 2 years. But I don't know. They're another team. Kareem Hunt would look good on that team too. There's another team that needs a running back.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I told y'all that. But yes, you're right. 20 targets, 15 receptions, 147 yards. It's a hell of a night. But I think that that's more system than player. And I think that, after this injury, hopefully Adam Thielen comes back. I mean, not Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp comes back, but I think that's what he's just going to end up being. He's going to be those same 3 years that Adam Thielen had for Minnesota, where he was a Pro Bowler a couple of those years. It's going to be the same thing with Cooper Kupp.
Yep. Moving on to the AFC. Titans beat the Chargers. I don't know if that's an upset or not.
Definitely is. The Chargers are 0-2. They almost got to be on DEFCON, especially losing to Scamahill. You got to start. That's another place where there's a lot of money spent at the quarterback position to be 0-2.
Yeah, and they lost in overtime. And you lost, and what's his name didn't go crazy. DeAndre Hopkins. I
Nope.
thought DeAndre Hopkins that's how you win. The Bengals lost to the Ravens again. Joe Burrow is clearly not 100%, and the Ravens offense actually looked pretty good this week. I think the Bengals are more on, hey, something got to give pretty soon. Like, they're going to have to do something.
And I told you so, you guys, to death, but I definitely said,
No, you're
hey,
not.
the best thing that you can do is let Burrow sit for a couple weeks until you know that he's 100% healthy. You had him play in 2 games. He's lost both of those 2 games. Both of those losses have been embarrassing. And now you're not sure if he's healthy again enough to play this week. So you really gain nothing. Sit him it's all hindsight is 2020 now. It is what it is. But I definitely said, sit that man for the first 3 or 4 games of the season.
Yeah, it's not working out. Who do the Jets sign?
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, you said that. I hate it.
There are a few options for me realistically. My favorite option is to trade for Jameis Winston. I feel like Jameis, he's going to at least be able to get the offense moving, and I feel like you're going to play with the opportunistic defense. Is he going to turn the ball over? Yes.
You would take Jameis over Gardner Minshew? I think Gardner Minshew would be a really good pickup for them. But
Gardner Minshew is not leaving the Colts because Anthony Richardson has been hurt in both games. No, he was hurt in the last game where it was like a leg or something, and then he had a concussion. He's just too good of an insurance policy for them to move him. That's the reason it's got to be, like, to me, it's got to be Carson, who's available, Jameis, who's going to come at a cost. And you know that if you try to trade for Jameis, they're going to want what you got. I want something back for that because I know you're in a bad situation. You're not negotiating from a place of strength. So I want to get something. I want to get more than I should for Jameis. It's the right thing to do.
I did not mean to do that. Damn. Well, that sucks. Did not mean to take away the chat box, but I there's really nobody for them to trade for.
I mean, you could always go get what's his name, who's the backup everywhere. He's probably in Cleveland right now, I think, or he was the backup in Cleveland.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yep. He's more confident football player than Zach
What are
Wilson.
you willing to give
Zach
up
Wilson.
for a backup quarterback? Because all they got is first round picks. They didn't give up everything else. Shannon Sharp said this dude can play dead in a horror movie. How disrespectful that is.
I could find. I'm sure they got to have some seconds somewhere. I'm not giving you first. First is unreasonable. But I could part with a second to manage the rest of my season.
I mean, that defense is so good, though. I mean, like Jordan Whitehead, we already said he reached his $250K incentive after week 1.
no. Well, they got the first round next year. The Packers can. Oh, you got their second because Aaron Rodgers won't play 65% of the snaps in 2023. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks for the Packers because he definitely was supposed to play and they were gonna come up because it was gonna turn into like a 4th or 5th round pick if he played all them games.
First round pick if he plays 65% of the snaps in this season. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, you got that pick. You got the 3rd round pick, and you got a 4th rounder and a 6th.
Yeah, and Sneaky, you're right, man. Shout out to the viewers, man. Sneaky, you're right. That O-line for the Jets is atrocious. That you can tell they paid the defense, they paid Aaron Rodgers, and they brought in everybody else on offense, and they didn't pay nobody on that offensive line. They are awful. They are bad. And then you played the Cowboys, who arguably have the best defensive line in the game, or at least number 2 to yours. Because I mean but they starting to turn in that locker room already on Zach Wilson.
That's the reason you might have to just whatever you got to spend, you might have to spend just to keep the locker room copacetic. Because if not, then it's gonna get out of hand, and then you have to start moving players, and then people gonna want these really good players on consignment because they know that they're unhappy. And the people are going to be ready to poach. Listen, whatever they can get.
You can have whatever D lineman except for Grady Jarrett you want for Quentin Williams. We will send you the whole defense except for Grady Jarrett, Jesse Bates, and AJ Terrell. Everybody else, we could package them together, and y'all can have them all. A couple picks.
Wait. Are you sure you wouldn't give up Grady for Quentin?
I wouldn't want to.
I'm inclined to do it.
I'd rather give up the picks. Because I think Quentin and Grady are an insane duo. Because you can't double team either one.
That's true. You're right. I do like that part.
You can't double team nobody. But that ain't never the Falcons' problem. Falcons always need pass rushers. Another team. I told you that this game was going to be closer than people thought. 17-9 in Jacksonville. 17-9.
It is. It's an unfortunate thing going on right now, but the Chiefs' offense does look weak, and it looks like Eric Bieniemy wasn't getting his just due. But they did find a way to win the game, and that is important. And I want you to notice, how many points do the Jaguars have? 9. What does that come from? 3 field goals. Everybody says that Trevor Lawrence is the next big thing. I'm watching him. I'm actively monitoring him because nobody else is. I don't think that he's that good, and 9 points ain't good enough.
Yeah, not with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk went crazy that game, if I'm not mistaken. But they had red zone issues, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you can't score 9 points.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go back. I'm actually gonna go back and look at this.
22 of 41 for 216 yards and 4 sacks.
So their O-line is sketchy too.
Calvin Ridley, 2 receptions, 32 yards. Hey, bro, you want to come? That's two receptions on 8 targets. Zay Jones, 0 receptions on 6 targets.
Christian Kirk, 11 receptions on 14 targets, 110 yards. So they would move. Yeah, I mean, they just Evan Ingram 6 catches.
Now the thing about Christian Kirk is you got to subtract 45 yards from that 110. And if you take that long as it's 45, then it's a lot more dink and dunk in there.
I mean, and that's the offense that they run too. Oh wow. Pittsburgh won this game.
Calvin Ridley got 32 yards on 2 receptions, but one of them was 26. Like, it's not really much of anything going on. Like, yeah, for me, I just don't trust Trevor Lawrence. I probably never will. I'm not believing in this hype machine with nothing to show.
Well, to me, the issue really ain't Trevor Lawrence. Really, I think he's hyped, but I don't think he's the problem. 12 rushes for 40 yards with Travis Etienne Jr. Is never good.
Now The other part about that is the money. He about to come up for a contract. What do you do with Trevor Lawrence?
They're going to have to pay him. That was pass interference. Ooh, that was pass interference. That was pass interference. The Steelers got away with one from the Browns. That was pass interference, and that was ugly. The refs missed PI on that play.
That was
crazy.
This got to be fourth down.
Yeah, it was fourth down, and they missed pass interference. Crazy. They missed it. They missed it. Crazy. Anyway, Patrick Mahomes has set a new record deal, $218 million guaranteed, making him the highest guaranteed contract in NFL history. They're going to restructure that multiple times. I promise you. They're going to restructure that game multiple times.
Yeah, that's the old Matt Ryan place. Hey, we'll pay you later. But no, they actually did a good thing with him. I think paid him a chunk of money right now.
Yeah, they giving him that so they up front because they see they got to keep paying him over and over again. And
yeah,
it seems like what they did was they took the 500 million. They said we're gonna pay you 500 million anyway, and we'll just the better you play, the more we gonna guarantee. So here you go. Yeah. He like, all right, cool. I'm still only 26. Like you still gonna have to pay me some more money. So that's pretty tough, man. That's pretty tough. Before we go, let's talk about these rookies and the owners tripping. So the rookies, we try to keep up with the rookies here. We think this was a really good draft class. Of course, we got Bijan, Tank Dell.
Another good game.
I hate that the Texans are always potential. But they got a good little receiving group out there now with Tank Dell.
I like it.
Mechie coming back. Yep. And Nico Collins. And if y'all pick him, Nico Collins had like 100 and some yard receiving. He's a 6'4" receiver out of Michigan. Pretty good. Christian Gonzalez looks like the real deal out there in
now I'm gonna tell you, I have talked poorly about Bill Belichick's draft picks over the last 6 or 7 years. Christian Gonzalez looks like one of the redeeming picks.
You got that
one first right. Game, I think he had 7. I think he might have had 10 tackles in that first game, somewhere between 7 and 10 tackles and a pass defense. This week he has the interception and 6 tackles. Quiet, good pick. Very quiet, very good pick.
Marvin Mims Jr., 2 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Puka, we told you about that, 15 and 147. Jaden Reed, he had 2 touchdowns. They played well in the first half. Bijan, they basically gave him the ball everywhere, and John Michael Schmitz had a 100% pass block rate against Arizona. So these rookies are playing really, really well. There's others we could talk about too. Christian Ezian, 1 interception, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass breakup. So Justin Fields threw 2 interceptions. They are going to this may be one of the better draft classes out there. The Browns lost and they had 408 total yards, but they had 4 turnovers. 2 of them were for touchdowns. And finally, to end it all off, well, tell me what you think about the rookies. My bad, I said all that.
No, I mean overall, it's been a very impressive class. For me, like I told you, if the people who listen to the show, I'm gonna.
You're right about Bill Belichick.
I'm gonna keep my eye on Christian Gonzalez because everything that I've seen, he is legit and he is very scary. Marvin Mims went crazy with those 2 catches. I think that he should have probably got the ball a little bit more. And then Puka Nacua.
I was saying the same thing.
I can't conceptualize, like, because he had 10 catches first game, 15 catches the second game. That's good scheming. It's very good scheming. Yeah. And Bijan Boogies, yo.
He looks crazy. NFL owners being racist. Nobody's really surprised. Nobody's really surprised at all. Bills owner Terry Bagula allegedly made a racist comment about black players in the NFL, according to a racial discrimination lawsuit. He basically said he told Trotter and approximately 40 other NFL media coworkers during the Zoom that if black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is.
Hey, Terry P. If the black players left the NFL and went back to Africa, the NFL would look like what it looked like when you were young, and nobody was interested in that NFL. So, buddy,
it's also implicated Jerry Jones too, saying if blacks feel some kind of way about how things are run, they should buy their own team and hire who they want to hire. Jerry, we know that you have to vote on the owners. The owners have to vote on somebody to accept them to buy a team. So you can't tell us, because we got people. Diddy already said he was trying to buy the Charlotte Hornets when y'all got the racist man out there the Carolina Panthers when y'all got the man out there. But you know that the owners have to vote and accept a bid for a team. Jerry, don't play those games. We know the BS, dog.
That is,
Stand
I
up for your
agree
man,
with
though.
the sentiment, but you also have to then, like you said, make it where it's feasible. Like, if there is no way for them to buy a team, then all of this is for naught. I do think that there should be more black ownership, and I think that they should hire who they want to. But you guys,
not gonna let them
out of your own.
Y'all not gonna let anybody come in there that has the money to be. Because imagine if an ownership of LeBron James, Diddy, Jay-Z, the media mogul, got to just put the bid in for Disney.
Y'all are not letting those type of people into your club because of the fear that comes with it. That's the other part. You let these people who are rich, black, and confident get in there. You know, it's like the quarterback position. As soon as y'all let one in there, it got crazy. It's gonna be the same thing with ownership.
Yeah, it is, man. It is gonna be the same thing with ownership. There's no way that it's kind of morbid to say. I'm interested to see what happens when all of this generation of owners get when their time is up. I'm interested to see what happens. I can tell you exactly what's
going to happen. Every sports organization, if it's not family owned, will go into an ownership group because owners are problematic. It's much easier to buy a portion of a team than to buy a whole team. So yeah, I think that all teams. I think going forward, if I'm Goodell or Adam Silver or what's to do with baseball, I can't think of his name right now, but no, I'm only selling to ownership groups so we can handpick the lunatic, get him out of there, and we won't miss a beat because you have too many of the Robert Sarvers, Donald Sterlings, who just say crazy things, and then like you have to have this long drawn out procession of of selling a team.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're not gonna actually take a break. We're just gonna go right to basketball real quick because we don't have much to talk about. The new Clippers Arena is biting off Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They're about to have an Acre-sized scoreboard that is actually, which is kind of crazy in a basketball stadium. Which is going to be a circle similar to, or oval similar to the Falcons Stadium, but it's actually going to be two-sided, which is kind of crazy. All of this is kind of crazy for a basketball stadium because that is going to be a huge display. Huge display.
I like him because he spends money. Like he's trying to do two things. He's trying to put the best product that he can on the floor, and he's trying to give the best experience to everybody who comes into his arena. I appreciate that.
Somebody said in the comments, damn, all of that to see Kawhi not play.
I don't have an answer for that.
I do. It's funny and it's true. It's funny and it's true. I don't really like this headline, but Cavs GM charged with driving impaired. What does that mean? That means he was not driving under the influence. It wasn't alcohol. It was something else. Koby Altman. It is.
You know how this is going to play out. He had a bad reaction to drugs that he was prescribed. That's how that's going to go.
That works. I mean, that gets you off of it. if they decide to do that. They may not have his back. I don't know. But if he does, we do pray that everything will be okay with him and it was just a one-time thing and it's not a problem. And finally, good news. News that we kind of knew was going to happen. Aliyah Boston is the AP Rookie of the Year for the Indiana Fever. She's a beast. I watched her play against the Dream, and I watched her play against the Aces and Asia Wilson, they both went to South Carolina. They're 4 years apart, I believe. Aliyah Boston is for real. She is a big girl, and I don't mean big as in like fat or nothing. I mean she is solid. Well, you can see she ain't fat. She is solid.
Yeah,
she uses her build very well in the paint, and she is a problem. And she has good touch around the rim. If she ever perfects that mid range, that little in the paint jump shot, y'all might have to cancel Christmas because they gonna have to surround her. They gonna have to surround her with some talent.
Yeah, as they continue to build on this team, I 100% think that they're gonna have something worth watching. And yeah, congratulations, because she has made it difficult on a lot of these veteran players. She came right into the league kicking ass
early. And it wasn't even close. Like, she came in and was the best person. I mean, they did have the number one pick, so they weren't great. Yeah. But she came in and was the best player on her team. She averaged 15 points,
you still got to deliver.
15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, 36 minutes a game. Her splits at home, she was 19 and 12. So at home, she was even better. Her defense does probably need to get a little bit better, but she averaged 1.3, 1.5 steals a game. I mean, shit. I mean, unless you want blocks, but I mean, whatever. She's balling, and she's just a rookie. The sky is the limit. So congratulations to you, Aliyah Boston, and congratulations to the WNBA. Before we get out of here, congratulations to the WNBA on having a great season. Great season. The New York Liberty, the Las Vegas Aces, the Atlanta Dream, the Connecticut. I forgot their name. Is it Sun? Sky. It's the other team. The other C team is the Sun. All of those teams, it's a lot of parity, a lot of good players.
Connecticut.
Yeah. A lot of good players, and it's Chicago Sky and Connecticut Sun, right? Yeah, that's what it is. So you had a lot of those. You had a lot of good players, man. It's good basketball, and I've been watching. The Dream made it to the playoffs. They struggling, but the future is bright. The future is bright, man. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the Splash Cast episode 120. Thank you for tuning in and rocking with us. Norwood, if we didn't miss anything, take us out.
We never miss anything, never have, never will. This weekend, Hampton is off. Take a break. Hopefully, you guys can get some players back eligible. So by the time we play Richmond on the 30th, we can compete. We get into our CAA games, and the competition vastly ramps up at that point. So we really need you guys to deliver. Number one. Shout out to Ronald Acuna, 200 hits this season. First player to 200 hits. I think that everything that he's done, I think he should lock up the NL MVP. Don't Mookie Betts this thing, man. That's all I got to say. But number one, more black baseball. And, of course, it's still summer here, so more black beaches. Number 2, more black cowboys and more black cowgirls. And then finally, number 3, the historically black college or university that your cousin went to, you went to, your auntie went to. Send some money over there. Specifically right now, support all of our HBCUs. Historically black college university that you go to, as homecoming season is here now, is you go over there to support for homecoming step shows, just to be around your people, to feel the vibes and the culture. Send some money to where you're most present. And then finally, we ask for $18.68 on behalf of the Hampton University, on behalf of the Splashcast. Support your HBCUs, support the greatest learning institution in all the world, and support me and Reggie. Always remember, like, follow, subscribe.
Donate.
Arrivederci until we meet again. This has been an excellent episode 120. And Falcons are 2-0, baby. Gators upset Tennessee. Life is good.
This is the Splashcast weekly schedule. You can find us on Monday Night Raw. That is the Around the League edition where we cover all of the major leagues around the league. Tuesday is the ATL edition, Braves, Falcons, Hawks. Wednesday is when the playlist comes out. It's a Splashcast 24, 12, or 36 pack, just depending on the music. Thursday, for everybody who was not able to catch us live on Monday, they can catch up there on the Around the League edition. And then Saturday, of course, we bet beers for Saturday Morning Live. If you ever need to find us, we can be found at thesplashcast.com. And of course, via Instagram at the Splashcast.
You can be my engineer, shout it how you bouncing. Promise if you suck it, baby, I can make your mouth rich. Put pearls on your neck, I bet I make it match your outfit. Keep it low, don't you announce it. Quick to cut you off, nigga, I ain't with the nonsense. Fucking it out the mud, bitch, I had to move a mountain. Diamonds on my neck, that shit pure water like a fountain. Yeah, I'm taking your bitch, I take her for ransom. She lying, she telling me that it ain't even my money, she said it I'm handsome. She hopping the wheel, she throwing that ass, she throwing that shit like a tantrum. I'm pulling her hair, she don't even care, she want me to bust like a handgun. I turn her to my favorite stripper, cause I'm that nigga. My watch worth 6 figures, my bank bigger. She want me fuck the best friend and the big sister. I bend her up, we playing Twister, and then I kick her out the crib when I'm finished. Go figure. I just popped the pizza, my blunt litter. I had way too much scissor in my liver. I keep me 2 freaky bitches, they both scissor.